Hey BookTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. So I thought I would do an update on Tone Topple before I go for my daily run. I also have to wait for my dog. He's still roaming around outside in the backyard, so I don't want to leave him out there. So I figured before I go, that's why I'm wearing something like this shirt. I go ahead and update you on Tone Topple, and I think I already talked about in my last update. I told you guys that I finished Red Seas Under Red Skies, which feels like such a triumph. And I don't it's a relief because, not in a negative way, but in a I finally finished it, I like a proud kind of feeling that because I struggle with books that length. It takes me a long time to read them. I mean, I've gotten better, and I have read books like that length before, the Dragonlance books, which I think I mentioned before. I read those, and I loved those. But it's had been a while since before I moved here. It had been a while since I had read those, and I was so comfortable with the YA genre. And even though there are a lot of YA, especially I read YA fantasy mostly, so it's really only YA fantasy actually. Most of those are a lot of those series do get longer and longer as the series progresses, so some of them are 500 plus pages. But, middle grade and YA writing style is a little more simple than adult. Adult books, I think, have even more details. And the writing, I can't pinpoint exactly. I mean, I always say it's more, the YA and middle grade writing is more simple, but I don't I feel like I'm repeating myself when I say that. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you can tell, I have decided to rearrange my books backwards, so you just see the pages, and then when I read the book, I will turn it around. But this is something that was started by Holly from Holly Hearts Books, and finally I decided I'm going to do it too, because I definitely agree with what she's saying about how, it's, the idea of being able to turn your books around so you can see the colorful spine after you read a book. It's like getting a sticker when you're in elementary school. If you have done something good, or getting a piece of chocolate as a reward, or a cookie or something. So I just wanted to show you that because I noticed you can probably see in my video that my books are turned around the other way, so you just see the pages. But so yeah, it feels nice to be able to say I read a 500 plus page book. But I still have a long way to go because I cannot get through 1,000 plus pages without taking long breaks in between reading through the book. I mean, I still gotta read I still gotta finish reading Count of Monte Cristo, and my reread of It, which is not accomplished, and now I don't have any excuses because I have the movies. And I did want to do a compare and contrast, which actually, now I think about it, maybe I could film that too real quick. Because I haven't done that. I have not filmed that yet. But anyway, so now I'm going on to Elantris, which that was kind of I took it off the board for a little while out of my plan for what books I was going to read, because I started reading Fall of Giants, Carnival for the Dead, which I'm going to bring on me because next month I'm going to go see my grandma, as long as work gives me that time off, which usually they do, but there's always a chance they might decline it. I probably will bring one of those, if not both of them, with me, and I will be there a little bit longer than last time, because last time we just went there for a couple days, because we had some days off. I had some days off. I had a day off, not days, just one day, but it's only a 3-hour ride, so. Then I decided to put it back on the board because I do want to finish it. And I want to get through this one in Warbreaker before I get back into, The Way of Kings. But this, in case you don't remember, is basically you have Raoden, Hothren, and Serene as our three main characters. And there is, outside of Randon is a prince, and outside of him and his father's kingdom is this city called Elantris, which basically was, we don't know why, but they were abandoned by the gods, so now the city has fallen to pieces, and people don't go, and there's this whole illness. If you get this illness, you get sent to Elantris, and the people there are, like, falling apart, and they're still physically alive, but not really. And Randon ends up being sent there. Meanwhile, Princess Serene is his betrothed, and she is deciding to come early to his kingdom. But then, of course, she is told that Randon is dead, but she's still married to the guy, so she can't get out of the situation. She must take over and run the country even though she's a widower now. And then you have Hathren, who is this priest who's trying to, like, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he has religious intentions, and he's trying to use the idea of Elantrians as dangerous and bad, even though, and him and Serene are basically clashing with that on their beliefs. And she is trying, and both Randon and Serene are trying to make the best of their situations that they're in. Randon is trying to adapt to being in Elantris, while Serene is trying to keep the kingdom together and playing her own game, so to speak. And so far, I don't get why people don't like this book. I think it's very good and very entertaining. I guess they just don't think it's as good as his other books. And I think, and it's hard for me to tell, because I know that a lot of people say their writing is very different, but for some reason I can't tell the difference. I mean, it's been a while since I've read Brandon Sanderson, not including the last time I read this book, so I would have to read another Brandon Sanderson, more recent Brandon Sanderson along beside this one to determine if there is a difference. And I'm sure there is, I'm just oblivious to it. It's a very, this is a very good story, very interesting, very intriguing, and I don't know who I should be worried about. Like, I don't know if I should worry about Hathren or the guy that's his apprentice, because he's kind of a bit of a religious zealot. And those guys can be very dangerous. But Hathren, could be dangerous because he's very smart. He's very clever. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm really enjoying this, and I like the political intrigue. I've always liked political intrigue in fantasy stories. I don't like modern day politics, except for, like, I like history, learning about history, but I don't like modern day politics, but I do like politics and fantasy. I find that very interesting. I am also almost done with this book, Thornhill, and this is a really fast read because it's middle grade. Because half the book is told in pictures, as you've seen in previous videos where I talk about this book, and then the other half is diary entries, and some of the diary entries are very short. And it's very creepy, and just, I don't know what to make of what's going on. I don't know if this is going to have a supernatural aspect going on, because it doesn't make sense in what's going on in the present. Like, our main character Ella is seeing this girl, but we are told that this girl that she's supposedly seeing died in the past or was murdered. And she still looks very young, so she looks like a girl. Like, she's still a girl. I think she's a teenager. I think her and the other girls, the girls from 1982 storyline, are teenagers. So she doesn't look like an old lady. So I don't know if there's a supernatural aspect going on or something. I mean, there's gotta be, because like I said, she does not look like an old lady. She would be at least a middle age, if anything. I mean, or, she would be my sister's age, unless she just looks really young like myself. Or, I think, like, actually, I guess she would be, I think she would be my friend Terry's age, because I think she was in 82, so, Terry does look, and Terry looks young. You know, if you've seen, I have done a couple of videos with her. So I don't know, maybe she is, maybe she's on a ghost and she really is older, but she doesn't look it. And I really shouldn't be the one to judge because I'm someone that people assume that I'm a teenager. Hopefully now they'll start assuming that I'm like in my 20s at least, and I'm starting to look at least a little bit older. But I read a lot, as you can see, last night when I was in bed, so I don't have much more to go. This again is just looking at pictures, and you know, there's a little bit in the present day storyline. There are some where it's like at one point Ella is reading this article. There's notes that are left from her father saying he's not going to be home in time and she's on her own. And then there's like things written on walls and stuff like that. I feel like, and I definitely feel this is such a beautiful and heartbreaking book. You definitely feel for both girls. They're both alone. And although I feel, not that I don't feel sympathy for Ella, of course, like I said, I do, but I definitely feel more bad for Mary, because Mary is being essentially bullied, and no one believes her except for one person. That one person has left. Not on purpose, but her personal life situation has forced her to leave. And the other people don't care. And then, of course, the girl that's bullying her is really clever and knows how to manipulate things and is able to get away, not get caught doing the things that she does to make Mary miserable. And there's so many times that she plays Mary. She makes her think that, you know, makes Mary question things. It makes her think, maybe this girl really does want to be my friend, or has realized what she has done is messed up, and that, you know, she actually starting to think, you know, I need to leave her alone and try to be her friend instead. So I don't know what's going to happen, but the book implies a revenge is going to be taken, so I'm wondering if Mary's going to do something, or the girl's going to go too far and result in something happening to Mary, her death, or, you know, is it going to be an accident? I don't know, but I'm very close to finding out, it looks like. But this is a very heart-wrenching middle grade, a very beautiful story, and it really teaches you good lessons about bullying, and don't assume anything about anybody, and don't, like, if there is any implication that someone might have a disability, don't dismiss it, take it seriously, because just because it's not as extreme as being in a wheelchair or something does not mean it's any less. Okay, I love that the sun's coming up, but it's leaving a glare on the computer screen. It's incredibly annoying. Yeah, I mean, this girl has selective mutism, and she's constantly being bullied, and the other woman, Jane, is like, she thinks, oh, I don't know if it's legit, or so she says, or there's no proof that this girl's bullying her, and it's like, rascal, that's not food. And she's not taking Mary seriously. She's just dismissing her. And then, you know, at one point, Mary finds an ally, and the doctor looks like someone that she thinks might actually care. And of course, the other girl basically gets to him first when Mary finally decides to talk to him. And I just want to slap that brat. You know, I don't know how old these girls are, but you know, I want to slap her because she's such a manipulative little brat. What are you doing? Rascal, that's not food. I have something on my footstool, like something that he should not be eating. So it provides a really good lesson, and I think it's one of those middle grade books that older people can read and enjoy too, even though it's a sad book, so enjoy might not be the best word choice, but I can't think of any other word choice. I mean, it is very weird, and I'm not the only one. I've heard other people talk about this, how they've said that they've enjoyed books that are very sad and talk about something very serious and heartbreaking. And it's hard to come up with a better word, because, you know, you don't want to say you like the story, but you don't hate the story. You appreciate the story's existence, or have appreciated your reading of the story. And you don't want to say you hate it, because that would be silly, hating a book that just because it has something that will break your heart in it, and is about something that's not all sunshine and daisies and all that. Yeah, I definitely recommend this book. And it's a quick, easy read. And then I haven't continued Flashback. I only read that one chapter. I only finished chapter 27. Oh, I did start chapter 28. It's taking me forever to read this. But I'm trying I want to get this done when I get back from my run. And then that way, and get that done during the day, and then get to this tonight in bed. It's just very hard. And this week is kind of a long week because I've been getting up, like, I'm working 8 days in a row. Okay, and then, so let's see. This bookmark. I like this bookmark with all the tassels coming on. It's still, like, falling apart. So all I read so far of this one is that the characters have met this woman that's like Dex. She's a technopath. And she makes all these cool gadgets and stuff like that, and Dex is really impressed. But then he's getting all weird about it. But then he's starting to get weird because it's like he doesn't want to get replaced by this woman. I think he's a bit insecure because he's like, especially when he has made things for the council that have caused pain for Sophie. He made her that headpiece that prevented her from using her own talents because the council saw her as, did not like her using them and thought she was too dangerous. And they also wanted to control other people's talents, like people that have pyrokinesis and all that. So I think that's what it stems, that's the root of it, that he's made gadgets that are dangerous, so he's like, always wanting to make better and more awesome gadgets and gadgets that will not cause harm. But so the idea of them passing, giving him someone to help him is really hard for him to accept. He's used to working alone. But I really like Tinker. She's really cool. But it is frustrating because she's like, they're realizing they cannot be passive with the Neverseen. The Neverseen won't let them, and they're too predictable, so they're realizing we gotta learn to fight and defend ourselves and make weapons so we can finally defeat them. And then you have people like Tinker, and then Tinker is questioning, like, no, because weapons can be dangerous if you don't know how to use them. They could hurt people. They could cause a lot of serious damage and death. And so I understand Tinker's reaction. She's afraid of the damage and the suffering that weapons can cause. But as Deck asks her, she has never come up against the Neverseen. She does not know what they're dealing with. And there's, with bad enemies like the Neverseen, you cannot just sit there and be passive. You're not going to win, and they're going to prove that they're going to prove that they're going to win, that they're better than you, that you're predictable if you don't take action and learn how to defend yourself. Because there is times when you need to learn how to fight back. And that's the big question right now in this book. That's the big focus, is that these people are realizing they gotta fight back. Sophie's tired of them defeating her and her friends. She's like, they will get close, and then the Neverseen will prove that they know things and can predict what Sophie and her friends and all the people of the council and the Black Swan and all these people can. And I'm glad that Sophie's starting to realize that, no, yeah, I don't like violence and I don't want to hurt people, but you know what? I gotta do what I gotta do. Because, when, in the beginning of the book, what is her name? Ro was, like, talking to her about, was, like, okay, rewind. Fitz was really upset, because his brother was being brought back home, and he did not like because his brother's the murderer, so it was hard for him to be, so I don't imagine him being, like, all hunky-dory about that. And, I mean, like I said, you guys know how mixed feelings I have about that, because on the one hand, I understand Fitz's reaction, but on the other hand, I don't think he's being fair to his parents. But he is in anger, so Ro is teaching him, I think it's Ro. Oh, no, wait, Ro is with, no, it's Grizel. Ro is the ogre princess. She's the one who's hanging out with Fitz all the time and is protecting him. She's his bodyguard. So Grizel is teaching him how to let out his anger through learning how to, use weapons. And so he's been using throwing stars and hitting trees and stuff, and she's trying to teach him, and he's like... And so they decide, well, Sophie, maybe you should try it, because you probably should learn how to do this too. And so she throws, and she's actually proves to be better than Fitz. But she sees that at the time, she saw that as not a compliment, that especially when Grizel tells her you're a natural, because she said, "Oh no, I'm good at using weapons. What if that means I'm a killer, or what if I'm dangerous? I shouldn't be." And that's the thing, though. You cannot be like that, especially in this situation. I mean, it's one thing to be like that when you don't have problems like this going on, but they are in the middle of a war, and this Neverseen knows what they're going to do. They can predict their actions. And the reason why the Neverseen are constantly going after them is because they know the elves in this community are passive. They won't do anything. They won't fight back because they adhere to violence. And yes, in the ideal world, that's great. But this is not an ideal. They no longer live in an ideal world. They're starting to realize that the world is not ideal and that they're not exempt from violence and war and stuff. So they're not perfect. They're not the perfect little community they always thought they were. And so Sophie's finally, she has realized this, but she's finally admitted to herself that because of that, she needs to learn how to fight back, to defend herself. And that does not make her a killer. It's her choice. She doesn't have to be a killer just because she's good with weapons, just because she can throw things, or, that she has power and can cause damage. That doesn't make you dangerous. I mean, it does, but it doesn't mean you're a killer. You have free will to choose. Sophie has free will to choose if she's going to be like that. And that's what sometimes bad guys do not understand. So, I'm glad that they're doing that. That's what's going on in this book. And then, of course, there's couple drama. Like, I've been talking about the whole Fitz and Keith, Sophie love triangle, how oblivious she is, how clueless she is. Or at least she's in denial that both these boys like her. And are, like, maybe even in love with her. Or as in love as you can be at this age. But there's also, it's really cute, like, so now Sophie, because of what happened in the Neverseen in the beginning of the story, and, to convince Sander to stay, because he was thinking, I'm not a very good bodyguard, so I should leave, and she persuades him to stay, and that will figure out something so you'll be comfortable and you'll believe in it, so that you'll be happy and you'll want to stay. So he hires an ogre, a troll, is it a Dwarf? Is she a Dwarf or a gnome? I think I think it's gnomes. And I think that's all of them. So now Sophie has 4 bodyguards. And that's gruesome. Now that Sophie's back home, that's going to be very interesting for her to watch. Especially since the ogres, all the other ogre that was... So here's where the drama, the other kind of drama comes in. The other romance drama is that Rose's father hired one of his best bodyguards, Beau is his name. And he's someone who's very serious, and I don't get emotionally attached. I'm a warrior. And, which reminds me, that's what I wanted to tell Terry about. That the ogres, especially this guy, reminds me a lot of the Klingons from the Star Trek universe. That kind of serious macho warrior type who's like, I don't get emotionally attached. I'm a strong, powerful warrior. Warriors don't get emotional. Warriors are fighters and strong and confident and stuff and all that. And that's how he reminds me of a Klingon. That's what I meant to tell Terry, but I forgot about it when I stopped thinking about it for a little bit. So I'll have to tell her. I'll have to tell her as soon as I'm done filming this. But yeah, Beau reminds me of the Klingon, and like Rose does not like the idea that Beau is there. She's not very comfortable with it, and Sophie and Keith are the ones that find out about this. And of course, we all know Keith. He teases her about it basically the whole time, and is like, I'm gonna write a ballad, the Ballad of Beau and Roe, and it's just so, you gotta love Keith. He's so obnoxious and funny, and I can see where he would get annoying in his own way too. Like Fitz can be annoying, and so can Keith in their own way. But I lean towards liking Keith more, wanting him to be the end game. But I'm not one of those people who's, even if there's a love triangle, I'm not gonna be like dismissive and be mad if. I mean, I'll be disappointed, maybe a little frustrated, maybe like it's like no, why? But at the end of the day, if Shannon Messenger's intention is for Fitz to be the end game, then I can live with that. I'll be okay with that because Fitz is a good guy. He's just not my preference. I still prefer Keith. But if he is the end game for Sophie, then I can live with that. But I'll have to tell that to Terry, how they remind me of Klingons a little bit. But, so yeah, that is what's going on with this one. And this has been one of my better videos, I think, as far as talking about books. Less awkwardness. It's right because I'm very energized right now. So that's what's going on. I haven't started any of my other library books, but I don't know if I'm going to wait until Monday or maybe go tomorrow to turn in my library books. Because I think they're due back. Let me double check. I may as well check on that while I'm thinking about it. I think they're due back, yep, on the 18th. So I could go on Monday, which is the 17th, and it's going to be partly sunny. So I could go. Especially since tomorrow I think it's going to rain again. Unless it does what it did today, which is rain a little bit in the morning, but then by the afternoon, by the time I head home, it has stopped. Although I don't know if it's going to start again. Of course, watch after I film these videos, it will start raining, and then basically I've wasted getting dressed in these clothes. So anyway, that is what's my update for Tome Topple. And this time I have to remember to do the hashtag for Tome Topple because I totally forgot to do that last time, and people won't know. Only those of you who watch my videos will realize this is a Tome Topple thing. Actually, I think I did put the hashtag Tome Topple. I don't remember. But if you guys, as always, I hope if you guys are participating in Tome Topple, would love to know. I'm guessing no one is because I think he would have. Although I think I've had a couple new subscribers, so maybe if you guys are. So if you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you have not already. And as always, I hope you're enjoying your reading, whether you're reading a tome or not. And click the bell notification below if you want to know when I post new videos. Of course, that can tend to be a little sporadic at times. And I will talk to y'all later. Okay, let me do it quick. Okay. Alright. Okay, so I need to do that. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So this is trying to do that thing that everyone has a